purpose of this lesson is to review the function of protecting ranges. The protect range function is a useful way to prevent others within a workbook from altering data within the worksheet. You can thereby prevent the accidental or intentional modification or deletion of worksheets or cells within the worksheet by using password protection. As the owner of the workbook, you can set the rules on what worksheets and cells are off limits for modification. This can be a valuable function if you created a workbook that you will be sharing with a third party, and if you want to ensure that they do not modify certain aspects of it. Without this feature used, you'd have to manually check and see if any modifications were made to the workbook areas which you didn't want to get modified. And you'd probably have to do that pretty frequently if you were sharing the workbook back and forth with other individuals. Let's take a closer look here at what steps need to be taken in order to protect the worksheet. So in Microsoft Excel, if you want to protect the worksheet, you first have to go to the Review tab, which is in the top ribbon, and then you click on the Protect Sheet button. When you click on the Protect Sheet button, a prompt will appear and it'll show elements of what kinds of things you want people to be able to change. So for instance, some options that appear are the ability to format cells, format columns, format rows, insert columns, rows, sort, auto filter, edit scenarios, etc. If you deselect something, it means they won't be able to modify it. At the top of the prompt window, there's a password protection field box where you can type in a password, and unless someone else has that password, they won't be able to unlock the workbook to be able to modify the areas that you restricted. So I'm going to go ahead here and type in a password for the workbook, and I'm going to call it test. And I'm going to restrict access to being able to do pretty much anything in this workbook. A prompt appears asking you to confirm the password and click OK. And now the password is in effect and the workbook is locked. So if I try to modify any section of the workbook, I'll get a prompt that it says the cell or chart that you're trying to change is password protected. To make a change, unprotect the sheet. You might be requested to enter a password. So there's literally not too much I can do with this workbook unless I unprotect it. And in order to unprotect it, I just need to go to Review and then Unprotect Worksheet and enter the password that I had set for it. The Protect Sheet function also enables you to protect specific ranges. So you can also set a range where you'd like to allow someone to edit specific cells rather than the whole worksheet. To do this, go to the Review tab, then click Allow Edit Ranges and click New. When the prompt appears, you can click New, and then you can set the range upon where you want someone to be able to modify certain formula or certain cells, and then you can give it a title and set the range password. If you don't enter a password, it'll mean that anyone can enter contents within that cell, even though the rest of the sheet is protected. So I'm going to test this out. I made cell E97 on this tab unprotected, and as a result, I'm going to test it out to see if it truly is unprotected when I go to protect the rest of the worksheet. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to protect the rest of the worksheet, and now I'm going to see if I can still edit cell E97, given that I intended on making that cell unprotected. As you can see, I can still type within the cell E97, but I cannot type in the other cells around it because those ones are password protected. So the allow edit range function is particularly important and useful if you want to restrict the entire workbook from being modified with the exception of a small part of it. That can be extremely useful if you're creating a financial model and you have certain input cells that you want to allow people to modify for what if scenario building, or to create different scenario managers and things like that. Additionally, if there's a form that you want someone to complete but you don't want them to modify certain areas of the form, then it makes sense to protect the worksheet but to unprotect certain ranges and allow for edits in certain ranges of the workbook. Hey guys, thanks for watching this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe from you. And if you want to learn more about Microsoft Excel, check out these videos above. And don't forget to check out our website, commercecurve.com, where we have lots of in-depth finance and accounting courses available with full training workbooks. All of our courses come with complete workbooks of lessons, examples, pre-built financial models, and training video. Hope to see you there.